Hey there. I'm Lily, and today I'm going to be doing something that I haven't really talked about. Like, I haven't, I kind of did, I think I did a video on it, like, way back when the NDA was released, but, I'm going to be doing a video talking about, Magic Arena. And I played a lot during, like, the closed beta and a little bit after the open beta, but sometime during, like, Guilds of Ravnica, I kind of just petered out, lost interest, but the last few weeks, I've kind of started getting back into it, and really enjoying it. And I thought, like, this video will just kind of be kind of a ramble about, at least before, like, M20 comes out, talking about, what I'm playing on Arena, in terms of decks, and kind of my thoughts on Arena, and whatnot. But yeah, so just a second and we'll hop over to the right screen. And here we are. So yeah, no, I recently this is the day before M20 goes live. I'm recording this, so if your reaction today comes out, yes, I'm recording this the day before. I'm bad. I record most of my videos the night before. Full spoilers. I'm bad at planning ahead. I just recently finished up grinding out my 15 wins for all the packs because they're changing the system tomorrow, and so like the weekly reward system to like new mastery system. But yeah, but I had to get like this week's packs done like quickly, and I did that and I got that all done. And yeah, so let's just jump into not much going on here. I'd use the Nis avatar because Nis is great. I like green, and yeah, I don't feel like how many whatever gems it is for the Tristani avatar, because it's like the guild bundles. The only way to get the Tristani, which is what I really want, is through the Felesnya bundle, and I don't feel like spending 3,000 gems for a bunch of stuff I'm not going to use, because I just want Tristani avatar. I don't really care about the card styles. I honestly don't love the card styles, and I don't want these sleeves. I have the normal Felesnya sleeves, which I like the simplicity of, but at the same time, I want Tristani. I'm debating, because like I have the gems, but because I just save up my draft wins, but who knows, maybe not. But yeah, so I play with that, and yeah. So first we'll go through standard. The first deck I play a lot of is of course Felesnya, because the Felesnya are the bestnya. This is a pretty standard Felesnya deck. I have updated it for War, but there hasn't really been that many updates for War. It's going to be an interesting deck come rotation, because we're losing out on a lot of like really key components. Like, it's going to hurt losing Shalai and History Banali, and especially Sapperling Migration. Legion's Landing even too. It just... Yeah, there's like a lot of the Felesnya core that we're keeping, but it's losing a lot with rotation. There's a few cool things that it's getting in M20 that I'm excited for, like, yeah, we are getting Raised Alarm, which is not as good as Sapperling Migration, but the vast majority of the time you're playing Sapperling Migration on 2 in this deck, so it's similar there, but it's still like, I like having the linking potential of a higher board state, and there's some other interesting stuff, but nothing that's like amazing. But this is a deck. It's not super original. Like, there's a few directions you can go, but like this is a tokens deck. Early on we have Legion's Landing. It's one mana guy. It helps just getting out there, and this is one of my best sources of rebuilding against a control deck after like a Ritual of Suit. I hate that card. Ritual of Suit is awful. honestly, like, the problem with Felesnya in the current meta is less that it's doesn't have power, and like, because like it is very powerful and it can reach good board states very well, but all the other decks are mainboarding, not hate for this deck, but just general cards that just destroy this deck. Namely, Ritual of Suit on like the control front, and on the aggro front, Chain Whirler. My best matchups are against Mono White, and I mean, it's actually decent against Mono Red, because some lists of Mono Red have stopped any kind of moving away from Chain Whirler. But if they don't get the Chain Whirler aside, this deck is actually quite solid against Mono Red, and it's also quite solid against Izzet. Just because Izzet doesn't run that much interaction besides like 1-to-1 spells. I'm talking Izzet Phoenix. And that just didn't pair up well, and I'm just able to mass a board very quickly against Izzet. And yeah, they're casting a lot of stuff, but I'm gaining enough like instant life gain that like I'm usually able to scrape it out not too difficultly. But yeah, no, but Legion's Landing is just nice to be able to flip that. And a little bit of ramp is nice. Like, my ideal draw, honestly, is turn 1 Legion's Landing, turn 2 Sapling Migration, and then by turn 3 have 4 mana for like either a Shalai or just convoking out Venerated Loxodon into a turn 5 Tristani. That's kind of my ideal draw, just kind of that there, but even without that, having Legion's Landing, like, I'll happily throw a few tokens away to get Legion's Landing flipped, just because the long-term potential that it can't get removed as easily, and the long-term potential of just being able to make a vampire every turn against certain decks is very important. Next we have Tithe Taker. Tithe Taker, well, let's go to the best 2-drop. And best one is actually Sapling Migration. Is that Sapling Migration is just 2 mana, 2 Saplings, and honestly that's often what you want, is just 2 guys in 1 spell. And late game, if you draw us and like you have been, and you have gotten your board wiped, because if you haven't gotten your board wiped, you're not kicking this because you have better things to spend your mana on, namely Shalai activations, a Flourish, or some of the top ends, or holding up your mana for multitudes. Sapling Migration is also very nice with any of the Convoke cards, because you can cast them the same turn that you're convoking something, and it gives you parity for mana, so the spell is essentially free. Sapling Migration, yeah, it was just real solid. Honestly, Amara is my least favorite of the 2-drop slot. I find that Amara is just too slow. Like, yeah, if it is an empty board, it's great. Like, against Esper, Amara is actually not bad. But against a lot of decks that are either running enough removal that she just gets removed on spot, or they have blockers and whatnot, I mean, she's not bad. Like, the 2-drop slot, I think, is definitely the strength of this deck, but she doesn't end up doing a lot because she is kind of a high threat assessment that, yeah, she's a removal magnet, and that's kind of what she does. And then finally Tithe Taker, which honestly I've just been really impressed with. Tithe Taker, it makes attacks for your opponent casting spells in your turn. It really helps disrupt Esper as well as Mono Red. Mono Red trying to be tricky and whatnot. And as well as just with anything that the fact that it does replace itself, because it is a kind of a removal heavy format right now. Also a thing that a lot of decks are running right now is of Cry of the Carnarium, because a lot of the things that people run mainboard on Arena, like Best of One, to deal with Mono Red, also wreck Felesnya. Honestly, Felesnya, I shouldn't be running, but I do, because Felesnya is the best Nya, and I enjoy token strategies. But Type Taker, just replacing itself is honestly quite nice, because honestly, I don't care about the body, I just care that I'm keeping a body on the battlefield. Like, Legion's Landing, like, I'm gonna want a 1-drop slot, and like, I'm looking at things and I'm just like, am I end up just gonna be putting in like Hunted Witness? And I might be, depending on what we get in archery, when rotation comes. So on the 3-drop slot, I'm running a full 3 Knights of Autumn. I just find there's very few situations where Knight of Autumn isn't, like, welcome. It's amazing in mono red, either for life gain or blowing up a frenzy. Against Esper, it's okay. I think once rotation hits and there's going to be a lot less important artifacts and enchantments dealing with, I'll probably reduce the number of Knights of Autumn I'm running. But right now there's just enough that it hits, and sometimes you just need a little bit of bigger of a body. But I typically don't like to put counters on it because it is a higher movable format right now. It will just die, and I'd rather get the EDB of value out of it. And like I said, I really don't care about the quality of the body. I just care that it is another body in this deck, because it's a go wide strategy. I don't care about the individuals and what their stats are. I care about group ups and things like that. Next up, we just have 3 History of Benalia. This could honestly be 4, but I don't feel like spending more Mythic wildcards on it. Same thing with March of the Multitudes. Like, honestly, the ratios of this deck aren't perfect. It's just kind of what I have, because I spend most to all of my wildcards on building up my Singleton collection. My goal is to essentially have a full collection for Singleton, so 1 of every card. And that's honestly not that bad of a goal. Like, I find it's kind of somewhat reasonable. Like, the rare slot is of course hard, and I am behind because I took a sizable break, but I'm getting there. And if nothing else, like, I can get, like, I'm getting close to the point where it's like, it's a Singleton collection of the stuff I actually care about. And I like Singleton, it's my favorite format, and this deck is powerful enough that I can get my wins and stuff. Like, I'm just having a fun time just kind of relaxing and, like, not really caring about rank grinding, and just kind of, like, coming in, playing some Magic, having fun, getting my daily rewards, slowly building my collection, and brewing, like, Singleton decks and things like that. But History of Benalia, it's a tokens deck. This is kind of a no-brainer. I'm gonna miss History of Benalia, but yeah. Martial Multitude's not really a 3-drop, but this is honestly the best card in the deck, and it's just nuts. Like, this is the reason to play Felesnya. And yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm happy casting this X equals 3. Like, if I've just if it's like turn like 4 or so and I have 3 guys in the outfield, I'll hold back X equals 3. I've doubled my board, and I'm happy with that. Or it's this game-ending threat where I get to cast it end of turn, X equals 10, drop to Stani, swing for lethal. And granted, it does look very bad against, like, after, like, a Ritual of Suit, and that's where it's not the best. But it is the finisher of this deck, like, more than anything else. Like, it's instant speed, they do not see it coming at the end of turn. They don't really play around March of the Multitudes because, let's be honest, not many people are running Felesnya. So it is a very surefire way, like, more than any other card, with the somewhat exceptional Conclave Tribunal, it is the thing that I want to top deck every turn after, like, turn 5. Next we have Shalai, Voice of Plenty. It is very good, but actually for this deck, honestly less so than the giving my guys hexproof. Giving myself hexproof is nice for, like, mono red, but honestly that 6 mana put a counter on everything is kind of what I play it for. Shalai is kind of like a delayed Anthem in a lot of ways, with the extra protection and the aerial support to take out walkers if I need to. And yeah, no, and I'm going to miss her a lot when rotation comes. Next we have Conclave Tribunal, which is just very good removal in this deck. It's the only real piece of interaction that this deck runs, and honestly, that's all it needs. This is honestly like a mid-range deck that isn't super interactive like mid-range is. It has just enough interaction that I deal with threats that I need to deal with, and otherwise I don't care what your board is doing. I'm just kind of building my forces and eventually will kill you before you kill me. And sometimes I'll deal with that. Again, not a 5's drop slot. None of the things that you, so many of the things in this deck aren't actually the slots that they are. But, Venerated Loxodon is, it's just real good. Usually I'd like to cast this about turn 3, either tapping an Amara and a Sapling Migration, along with a Tithe Taker, to get it on the battlefield. It's a body, it adds a lot of power and toughness to my board, and just generally gives me some nice beefy creatures to kind of lock down the ground, while I wait a little bit to go wide a bit more, cast a March of the Multitudes and hold back the fort before getting a big board and going for the Alpha Strike. Most of the time, this deck wins in 1 or 2 attack steps. Just because it's not so much, I'm not going in, trying to scrape out a little bit of damage, trading off. It's all about, I want to go wide. Next, and then the actual 5-drop of the deck, which is Tristani, is just instant board state and for everything. It's very self-explanatory, the deck. Tristani's honestly kind of boring as it comes, but even though she's a little bit boring and doesn't do that much fancy stuff, she is extremely potent and extremely effective. Then next up we have Flower to Flourish. Most of the time I'm actually just casting Flower. It's just a very easy way to smooth out my mana, while also sometimes, oftentimes, Flourish, well, I'll Martial Multitudes, untap, Flourish, win the game. But, yeah, it's just Flower Flourish, honestly, it's still in one of the top 5 cards of this deck. It's surprisingly effective and just versatile, and just the amount of consistency that it gives the deck, where I am never sad to draw this card. Either I draw early game and it's cool, this is essentially a land, and when I need it, or it is a finisher. The only time I don't want to draw it is post Ritual of Suit. Hi, I really don't like Ritual of Suit. Have you noticed? I'm now just realizing that some of these, but were under my image. Oops. And then finally, we have one of the Immortal Sun. This is mostly here just as a counter against Esper. B, and B, kind of it is one of the few, it's an anthem, which is nice, and also just, it does give me, when the games go along, a way to get some card advantage. This is my only way to draw additional cards in the deck. And this is, it's just a nice way to, replenish and kind of shut down for when I am going against a control deck and going long. That said, I don't really want to be drawing this most games, so that is why it is just a one-of. And then mana-wise, it's not that bad. I never actually finished rare wild cards or premium, so I only have 3 temple cards and 3 some petal groves. That said, with Flower, this deck rarely has color issues, so yeah. And I like this one. It's just a nice soft. I like the pastels of the sky with the wheat field, and also glowing pinecone trees. Oh yeah, glowing pinecone. And that's my main deck. This is the deck I run most of the time, but I have a couple other standard decks that I also run. I have mono blue. This is just a pretty standard mono blue tempo. I did just straight up mostly copy this list, but yeah, I enjoy it, but not as much as Felesnya, and it's there for when I have to do a daily quest that isn't blue or white or green, and has blue in it. Likewise, same thing with mono red. I chose these two just because they're fast, because if I'm having to play a deck to just get rid of it very quickly, like to speed through a daily quickly, I'm just going to choose a fast deck. Also, they're monocolored decks, so every spell in those decks gets it. My mono red deck is very much non-optimized. I don't like playing on mono red. It's just like, I don't want to play mono red, but I do, because sometimes you gotta be the evil that you see in others. But it gets my dailies done when I have to do it. And I don't have a black deck, but because all like cast X blue or red spells or whatever come in pairs, not having a black is fine. And these three cover any daily I could need. Mono red is also nice if I have like a kill creatures daily, because Felesnya doesn't really kill creatures. It either exiles them or it's entirely dependent on them blocking my stuff and dying, which isn't best when you want to like grind out like a kill X creatures task. And then I have just like the monocolor precons. That's mostly just if I want to play against someone with like low power level that is getting into the game. And then I have this is my popper deck that I'm running right now. I 100% just lifted this from Hipsters of the Coast. They did a good proper primer, and it's just mono green Stompy, because mono green's fun. And you also get to cast the best card in Magic, Colossal Dreadmaw, so yeah. But yeah, this one's pretty simple. It's you ramp into big guys, woo, and then you smash face, and you're like, oh yeah, green is the best color, yeah. It's not that much. I love this printing of the Llanowar Elves. I don't remember what event you got it from, but it was an event. Oh, unless my face is in the way. Face. But like this printing of Llanowar Elves is really cool. I have it in paper too, because it was like the open house for Dominaria. And it looks awesome in paper. Yeah, so that's that deck. And then I have my Singleton deck. Singleton is the format that I love, and it really should be a permanent format. Especially like when they do like an historic Singleton would be sweet. So this is Felesnya. It is very similar strategy to the first one, but it is a bit more mid-range. It has a bit more interaction and just kind of looking to do things. Running Llanowar Elves, just like some early smooth up my stuff, and Ultra Simples, Legion's Landing, Llanowar Elves. 2 drops, also just still kind of ramping, like the curve is a bit higher, but otherwise just kind of like, also am running more card draw. It's just, Singleton pushes it to be a little bit of slower format, and that's kind of what I'm doing. Making more tokens, just interaction, it's just a good card. Always a good card, interaction, more tokens, like, these things like are a bit too slow for normal standard, but like are real solid. Still very good in Singleton. Shalai, obviously very good. Beast Whisperer, just kind of keeping that engine going. More interaction, also shuts down rat stacks. And also Petitioner decks. Like both of those decks, it's just like, oh yes, would you like to concede now? Yeah, cool. Guttural Ketra, just like ends games on her own. Just real solid. Tendershoot Druid, or Dryad, just making kinds of return. If they can't remove this, it gets out of hand really quickly. Biogenic Ooze, great lakey mana sink. Tristani, Divine Visitation, the most fun card. Like, Divine Visitation, March of the Multitudes for like 10 feels, there are very few feelings that I enjoy more than just getting like, yeah, I have 40 power in the air now. Didn't see that coming at instant speed. More Flower Flourish, because why not? Assure Assemble, which is fine. Inspiring Commander, which is just nuts in this deck. And I really hope they would print that in paper. Although I do understand the arguments for not printing it in paper, because it does kind of it is a bin for what white can do, and it's easily accessible for card draw. That said, if that was the issue, it shouldn't have never made it to Arena at all. This is my color pie balance song regarding Inspiring Commander. Yeah. Also, it's like, even the name is like, yes, they knew that this card would be nuts in Commander, and it's not in Commander. Camaraderie, which is really neat. It's just like, it's both a finisher, it is an anthem, and just refills my hand. Another great feeling is when you accidentally mill yourself out because you drew 36 off of Camaraderie. I've done it, and honestly, there's no better way to lose than through the power of friendship. Immortal Sun, because people like playing Super Friends decks, and it's still good and go wide. And then does not combo with Immortal Sun, but Ugin, it's just general good top and removal. He also makes tokens, so it's flavorful for what the dex wants to do. So yeah, no, it's like, I love just brewing Singleton, and like there's a lot of things I could do to like smooth this out, but I enjoy it a lot. I just wish there was more Singleton events for me to like test out decks. And then I have a couple other decks that I run in Singleton. I have Elves, which isn't good. I still need to I don't actually have the Elf Lord, but it's largely like ramp, go wide, and then like ramp into like one of the finishers, like a Finale of Devastation or an In-Raise Forerunners, and just kind of like Elf Ball Smash into that. But this is definitely kind of like a fun, like, theme deck. Like, hey, look, I'm playing a bunch of elves. Well, not being an amazing deck, but it's elves. And I enjoy elves. Elves are fun. And then I have a black-white life gain deck, which I'm actually very excited for M20. There's a lot of cool things in M20. But, again, this is more as kind of like, I like building Singleton decks, kind of like how I build Commander decks, where it's kind of, I'm more building around a theme than, like, once I'm in the game, I obviously play to win, but when I'm building the deck, I am building to do a cool thing, and this is kind of like that thing. It's like kind of like pseudo, like kind of aristocracy, not really aristocracy, but like, it has a lot of like aristocrats pieces and whatnot, and just kind of like, really drain out your opponent, things like that, with like life gain and incremental advantage in that way. But yeah, no, I like that one. I need to test it more. And those are the decks I'm kind of playing right now. I just enjoy it. Like I said, I wish there was more Singleton. That said, I really did love. Also, unrelated. This is something I discovered like just the other day. There's actually categories that you can actually like sort what format you're doing it in. You have to like, I did have to move them and like create it within, like, I am creating a pauper deck. When you create one here, it automatically restricts it to just commons in your collection. Or if like you have Singleton and you make a new Singleton and like, look, it only cares about if you have one in your collection or not. And it's really cool. And I hope they expand that for like historic and things like that. But yeah, no. But it's very easy to miss that this is actually a drop-down box. But yeah, no. That's kind of what I'm playing with, thing. I'm very good at the game. That said, I'm silver rank. Oh yeah. That said, like, the season just began. But yeah. So, I've really been enjoying Arena, gotten back into it. I'm gonna move back out to my full self. Yeah, I've really been enjoying it. Like, I'm excited for seeing the development of the historic format coming up with rotation. It does give me hope that they said that like they're not doing it now, but they want to in the future add Kaladesh and Amonkhet, which would be really cool. Like, I still really hope that they kind of eventually reverse the decision to be like, oh, we will never go back on any sets. And because I feel like it's one of the arguments like, oh, it would take too long and it's too many resources to like add modern to Arena, but I don't think really anyone's asking for that, like, or at all at once. Like, give us kind of like a slowly work backwards or something like that, or like selections, like for like a special event, bring back like an Innistrad draft, because at the crux of it, MtG won't last forever. Like, MtG cannot survive and represent Magic. And I love Arena as a client, and most of my problems with Arena are just with format selection. And if we could get things like Brawl, and I think the addition of Historic will help a lot. But just adding some more formats that, because it's like, I'm not huge on 60 card constructed. Like, I like my high variance formats like Singleton, which allow for a bit more brewing and a bit more oddball decks. But yeah, so, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying just like not caring really about playing the meta and just kind of relaxing and enjoying kind of Magic and its core, and you know, that's cool. Like, I don't really spend money on the game, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And well, perfectly fine with like the rate that I'm progressing. Like, I have a few decks I like playing, and it gets me there. Yeah. One thing I am looking to do, because like I've said, I've mentioned a few times in this video, but I love Singleton, and I am looking at maybe putting together a Singleton tournament with the channel and with like specifically like the channel's Discord. So be sure to check out the Discord and keep an eye on there. I'll probably make a video announcing it when I do get it together. I don't really know what I'll do for like the reward or like prize for it. But yeah, if we can get some people like do a cool Singleton format, because I love Singleton and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had I don't know, this is kind of weird videos, more very rambly and kind of a deck, but also kind of not. I'm really not a standard brewer, but I do my best. Yeah, like, would you be interested in more like talking about Arena in the future? Like, I don't know, for me, like, unless we're talking about like specifically like set reviews of new sets, there's not that much to talk about Arena, and I don't really want to be doing gameplay videos. But yeah, like, would you be interested in more like general like Singleton deck techs and things like that? But yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and that'll be it for this time, and I hope you have a wonderful night, and with wonderful dreams, and may your stories smile upon you.